So it's the end of my sophomore year of college. It's spring in New York City, and the urine and grime-infused snow has just melted. And there is all this newly exposed flesh strutting around New York City. And now I am trying to ignore some of my more primal instincts and focus in on this paper that I need to write when my phone rings. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening. I look at caller ID. It's Puneet. I let it go to voicemail. Now, Puneet is my very dear friend, and I love him tremendously, and his life has been falling apart since February. And I have been listening to him talk about his life falling apart, and I have seen him cry, and I have held him, and I have comforted him, and I don't want to do that right now. I want to work on this paper. I'd like to go out with my friends, and ideally, I'd like to get laid. So, call goes to voicemail. I listen to the message. Now, he doesn't say much. He says that he loves me and that I'm an amazing friend, and now I feel like a big dick that I screened his call, but it's fine. He's fine. I will talk to him tomorrow. I go back to working on my paper. I'm starting to get ready to go out. I'm trying to put something together that looks like I just threw it on, but the ladies won't be able to resist. And my phone rings again. And it's a Brooklyn number. I pick it up, and it's Puneet's sister. And she wants to know if he's with me. I said, no, I haven't talked to him or seen him today, but he left me a message a little while ago. And she says, okay, well, he was supposed to be at their parents' house in New Jersey a few hours ago, and he never showed up. I said, okay, well, as soon as I talk to him, I'll be sure to yell at him on your behalf. And she laughs, but it's forced. So I get off the phone, and I feel a little uneasy. So I tell my friends, I'm like, go out, I'll meet you guys up later. And I call Puneet back. It goes to voicemail. I send him an email. And I try to go back to working on my paper, but all these different scenarios are running through my head. Like, he was on his way to New Jersey. He met a really hot girl and had the opportunity to take her on a date. He lost his phone and his wallet and now is walking his way to New Brunswick. He decided on a whim to leave the country and is in a developing nation building houses for the next 3 months. And all of these are equally viable options. And I'm trying to work on my paper. I keep checking my email, nothing. And then finally, around midnight, all of my suite mates, they're still out. And my phone rings again. I pick it up, and it's his sister again. He's dead. Puneet is dead. He killed himself. He walked along the tracks until a train collided with him. And the conductor blew the whistle several times, and he just kept walking toward it. I get off the phone, and no one else is home, and it is so quiet, and I sit down on the ground, and I'm trying to absorb the information, but it's not sinking in. Eventually, my suite mates start coming back home, and they're loud, and they're laughing, and they smell like bar, and one of them starts in on the, oh my God, you're not gonna believe what happened. And I interrupt. Puneet's dead. He killed himself. Now, I think saying the words out loud are gonna somehow make it real to me, but it feels like I'm lying. And then one of them starts crying, and I am annoyed. He wasn't her friend, he was mine. And I get a hug, and I accept it, but I don't want it. I don't want to be touched right now. And then there's all these questions like, when and how and why, and did you know he was suicidal? And I have the conversation even though I don't want to. And then one of them offers to sleep in my room with me that night, and I say that's not necessary. I'm fine. And I go in my room and I shut the door, and it just feels like relief. And I finally start crying. His sister asked me to speak at the funeral, and I do, I'm fine, but I don't know what to say to any of these people. I mean, they're not my people. Puneet was my person. We didn't share any friends. My friends are all queer and loud and politically active, and his are all straight and preppy, and they study opera and the classics. It'd be like comparing the characters from a Jane Austen novel to those from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I don't even really know how we became friends. He's 2 years ahead of me in school, but when we became friends, it was just instantaneous and it was deep. I had absolutely no filter with him, and I could say anything without fear of judgment or being fetishized. And like with all my other friends, we'd go out and explore everything in New York City. With Puneet, we just nested. We would like go to the hardware store or an art supply store and try to figure out ways to like make the fluorescent lighting or the vinyl floor in our dorms less heinous. And then without fail, once a week, we'd attempt to cook like elaborate Indian meals in my tiny college-issued galley kitchen. Now the thought of food makes me sick. I've lost my appetite, but I'm fine. I can still focus. I finished my sophomore year with flying colors. Thinking about Puneet is so painful and messy and ugly, but I can focus on anything else. I go home for the summer, and my sister's getting married, and I throw myself into being her bridal bitch. I mean, I make sure everything she wants is done, and done the way she wants it. And my family doesn't really know how to handle the situation. But there's nothing really for them to do. I'm fine. And the house is so full of to-dos and people that my old room is the only space that's just mine. So I reclaim it. I put pictures up, and I have it just so I can fall apart in it. I'm not gonna let my grief take away from my sister's big day. I'm fine. So I go back to New York City in the fall, and I'm living in a suite with 3 friends. And so suites are basically, they're college-issued apartments, and we have, it's 4 single bedrooms with a shared kitchen and a shared bathroom. I spend 2 whole days setting up my room, so it's just exactly how I want it. Right next to my bed on the window ledge is a picture of Puneet reading. And then on one wall, I have a couple of pieces of art he had made. And then next to my bed, I have this marble box he had got me for my birthday. They had found it wrapped up in his room. He killed himself in April, and my birthday is in June. He knew he was going to kill himself, but he didn't want me to think that he had forgotten my birthday. So in this box next to my bed, I had a couple of letters that he had written. And there were other things in my room as well. It wasn't all a shrine to Puneet, but these were just some of my more important items. And having everything exactly how I wanted it just made me feel like I could breathe and get everything I needed to get done. So a couple weeks roll around, and it's my sweet mate Erica's birthday. Now, Erica is fantastic. She's one of the most vibrant, like, kick-ass people you'll ever meet. She's super femme, like feather boa and glitter and tutu femme. And she's wanted to be an abortion provider since she was 15. She's the person who is actually tone deaf, but will sing along to every song on the radio really loudly. And she makes a huge to-do about her birthday every year. So much so that her birthday has become like queer homecoming at our school. So this is the first year I'm living with her, and I have the honor of helping co-host this party. So the theme we come up with is come as your favorite cultural icon. So now it's the night of the party, and there are probably a dozen or so cultural icons dancing in my 8.5 by 15 dorm room. Because remember, like, we didn't really have any common space, so all of the parties is happening in like along a hallway, in our kitchen, and in all of our bedrooms. And like for dancing for dorky queer college students, it's not really dancing, it's more like just awkwardly gyrating against each other with no real distinction of like if people are sleeping together or just friends or dating or some combination in between. And it's just a fantastic spectacle. And the best one is there's a girl there, she's dressed as Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics Sweet Dreams video. I know, right? And she's wearing, I mean, she's got it done to the T. She's wearing a suit, tie, she's spray painted her hair red. And while I should just be like commending her for her commitment to the costume, all I can think is, that bitch better not get any of that red hair paint on any of my shit. But I'm fine. I can still I'm watching this and I'm watching people feel really comfortable in my space. You know, I see someone put a beer bottle down on that marble box that Puneet gave me. And I'm not a dick about it, I'm fine. I just go and I pick it up and I ask oh, do you need another beer? You know, I'm trying to be host, but I'm totally tense the entire time. And finally someone nudges me and points to this corner in my room. Now, in one corner of my room, totally grinding against each other, is Annie Lennox, the Proletariat, and Sarah McLachlan. Holy fucking Lilith Fair, right? So, and this snaps me out of it because I have a lot of 13-year-old boy in me, and it is hilarious. It is just the most fantastic spectacle, right? They're all locked eyes, no real notice of anyone else in the room, and they're just totally ugh. And I can finally enjoy this party because this is hilarious. This whole party is hilarious. So I start to enjoy myself, and I drink, and I dance, and whatever, and I go downstairs, I go with some friends to go smoke a cigarette. And I come back up to my suite and with my friends, and as I walk in, someone says, "Oh shit." Sort of strange, whatever. I walk down the hallway, and the door to my room is closed. And so I was like, oh, that's silly. I open the door, or I go to open the door, but the knob's not turning. So I try again a little more forcefully, and it's locked. So I'm like, what? So I turn it again, and I'm getting a little tense about it, and someone comes up to me and is like, Annie Lennox, Sarah McLachlan, and the Proletariat are totally getting it on in your room. And while I should be amused by this, I start getting panicked. I'm turning the knob and I'm banging on the door now. Someone puts their hand on my back and tells me to calm down. And I say, don't fucking touch me. And I'm banging on the door harder now. And I'm starting to scream. And I'm crying. And people are getting quiet and leaving the party. And I don't fucking care. And I'm just still banging on the door, trying to get in. Eventually, the door opens, and the disheveled Annie Lennox and the Proletariat and Sarah McLachlan leave the room, and I don't make eye contact with any of them. I just go in, and I start looking at my room, and there's red hair paint all over my bed, and I am furious, and I just want to break something, and I'm crying and still screaming, and at this point, everyone else has left the party, and Erica, the birthday girl, hands me a beer bottle, and I take it and I just throw it out the window. And I hear it go down the air shaft, 9 floors, and I can hear it break. And it feels so good. And she hands me another beer bottle, and I throw it again. And I keep throwing beer bottles out the window, and it feels so good because I am so mad. I am mad at these assholes who just feel that they have a right to be in my room. I am so mad at Puneet for leaving me alone like this. I'm so mad at him for not telling me how much pain he was in. I am so mad that he didn't answer the fucking phone. And I keep throwing beer bottles, and I keep screaming, and I keep crying until I am exhausted. And my throat hurts, and my head hurts, and I fall asleep. The next morning, I wake up, and I'm so embarrassed. And I go and find Erica, and I need to apologize for ruining her birthday, and she doesn't let me. She tells me what I already know. I'm not fine. I need help. And she helps me find the number for mental health services. Thank you.